Evening, everybody. I've had a lot of folks at work asking me to make a what they call a tutorial or territorial, is what I call it, video about some stuff that I do around here. As you can see, I use wood to heat my shop up. Cut a lot of it, but I wanted to do video tonight on what I do with my get home bag, bug out bag, or whatever y'all folks want to call it. It's just a couple of things I keep in here to keep myself, in case I get into a bad situation, keep it where I can get where I need to go. If I'm out hunting or something like that, I normally pack it with me. Now, the first thing I got here is paracord, 550 paracord, multi-purpose. I got 100 foot of it, and it's got 7 nylon strands, 1 waterproof tender cord. Now this has fishing line also built into it. You can get it just about anywhere. I got mine from My Patriot Supply because I thought it was a higher quality. But you can use it to string you up a tent if you're out in the woods. Use it to hang your clothes on if you're on to dry them in case your dryer went out or something like that. And well, like I said, it's got 1,000 uses for paracord, whatever your mind can come up with. And this right here is what you call a Faraday bag. It's supposed to protect against any kind of electronic EMPs or electromagnetic pulses or anything like that. Mostly what you do with it is you just take your electronics and you put them in there. I've got my solar powered radio, flashlight, AM, FM. Like I said, it's got a solar powered bank on it, and it also works good in charging a phone or something of that nature. It's also got a secondary hand crank on it. So, if you needed something in a survival situation or something like that, it's also chargeable, and it also runs on AAA batteries. So, like I said, I keep it in a bag that protects against any kind of electromagnetic fields or pulses or solar flares. You know how that solar flare incident happened, knocked out AT&T and Verizon and all them folks was panicking for a couple hours there and wasn't able to use AT&T. Now this is 2,400 calorie emergency ration kit. I got it also from My Patriot Supply. Basically what it is it's dried up butter biscuits, or pretty much buttered biscuits. It's got a 5-year shelf life on it. If you're out in the woods and you're stuck, you need something to eat, you just crack this thing open and you can just tear right on in. They don't taste bad. I figured they'd taste like dog biscuits. They don't. So I got 2 packs of them. You can also keep in your pack, you can keep 2 cans of soup or 3 cans of soup, just whatever you prefer carrying. I just keep that in there just in case anything could possibly happen. I ain't got to worry about no soup blowing up on me in the summertime in my truck or in the car, either one. Now, my other thing I carry with me is my Arkansas toothpick. This is just a cheap one I've got, but anybody that knows me knows I prefer to carry a Bowie knife. Arkansas toothpick. The difference in this and a pig sticker is a pig sticker is generally about 17 inches long overall length. Arkansas toothpick, Bowie knife, whichever one you prefer to call it, is normally a 12 to 20 inch blade and maybe a 5-6 inch handle. But this one right here keeps a good edge for what I want to do with it, and it's pretty stout if it can still hold up to me. Emergency poncho. Now, I know some folks don't like to be wet, and some folks don't like to be cold, and then there's some folks that just don't like to be wet and cold. So if you can keep yourself from getting wet, there's 1,000 uses for this thing also. You can catch rainwater with it. I mean, you can do just about whatever your mind comes to. Fire starters. Now, I know there's some folks out there, this is part of a fire starting kit. It'll light wet wood, it burns in snow, water, ice. I mean, it's non-volatile, it don't flare up, it burns for 10 or 15 minutes, it's in a waterproof pouch. I mean, you can't go wrong with something like this. Now, in that first video I showed you, if you was out in the woods and you was having problems, I showed you how to find you an overhanging rock if you're close to any kind of mountainside or anything like that. You find dry leaves, kindling, anything of the sort. Now, in one of my pouches for a fire starter, I keep several different ways to start fire. This right here is what you call an electronic lighter. If I can figure out how to get it open. See that right there? Electronic lighter. It got the cat's attention. Apparently they can hear it better than I can. But you just take it and you stick it on there. It's chargeable, rechargeable. It does pretty doggone good at starting fire. Just don't stick your fingers in it because it will light you up. Waterproof matches. I've used several different types of these. The Instafire and the Blackbeard so far is the best two I've found. Now, I'm not endorsed by nobody. I'm just giving y'all my professional opinion or unprofessional opinion on what I've used out in the woods and camping and everything else. Now, my other thing I've got in here is I keep something that most smokers always keep with them. A big lighter. Now, I like to have at least 2 or 3 different forms of ways to start a fire. I don't like to be caught with my britches down. Now, other ways, if you ain't got the money, or if you're tight on funds like some folks are, is get dryer lint. And another household item in there, in the house, I mean, I know most folks have got it inside their house, petroleum jelly, or what most folks call Vaseline. Vaseline and hamburger grease, or anything like that. You take it and you dip that dryer lint down in it, and then take it and put it in a small 4-ounce jar and put it in a pack. You can run it, do whatever you want to with it, and it's pretty easy to start. Now, my other go-to, this is my favorite, I'd say so far, is fire rod. It'll start just about anything. I mean, it's made out of metal. It's lightweight. You got paracord with it. It's easy to keep up with. You just keep it over there in your thing. I mean, all you gotta do is just like that right there. It's another handy dandy thing to keep on. Now, another thing you might want to keep in your pack, keep 2 of them. Emergency blankets. You can take them, you can put them in your pack, you can use them for insulation on the ground. They do good at reflecting body heat. They're windproof, waterproof. They're non-stretchable polyester, and they're coated with aluminum. They ain't nothing to them. They're cheap, they're disposable. You just use them however you want to use them. Another thing, Swiss Army knife. There's 1,000 different things you can have on here. Spoon, fork, knife, saw blade, can openers. I mean, just about anything you can think of, depending on how big you want to get one of these knives. You can get them at trade day. You can find them at most knife shows, and people, they're a dime a dozen. But there's like 30 different types. And I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't really know how many of them there are, but you know how that goes. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Now, I've got a camp stove in this pack, and I ordered this 100-hour candle right here from Ready Hour. I got a 6-pack of them. This 100-hour candle's in a sealed pack. Ain't got to worry about it getting wet or anything like that. And even if it did, I'm sure this stuff's flammable enough, it'll light right up. You got light, you got heat. Just use your imagination on what you can do with it. You can start a bigger fire with it. I mean, just however you feel comfortable doing it. But I put it in my pack for a stove. Most of the time, I'd be willing to get a rocket stove or build a rocket stove or something of that nature, because I like to use a bunch of different things to learn how to do stuff. That's kind of the reason why I like to try and make these videos, so I can educate people on what I know. And don't worry, for those of y'all who want me to make some homemade biscuits, I'm gonna make y'all some homemade biscuits. It ain't gonna be too long off. Maybe next weekend, but I've got a hunt planned out, and I'm thinking probably gonna be Saturday, maybe if weather's permitting. But I've got straps. I mean, I've got all kinds of stuff. This is just something I put in there to take and hold stuff with, hang stuff with. Headlight. Flashlight. You can't ask for better light. And if your hands are free, all you gotta do is turn your head and it goes wherever you want it to. Now, another thing I've got, a lot of folks don't know too much about it. Emergency tent. I just put it in there because I got it with a Ready Hour pack. It seems to me like it's got aluminum on the inside of it, so it might hold some body heat. Real easy to set up. Won't take probably 10 minutes. Even the world's biggest dummy could probably figure out how to put it up, and I'm one of them. But probably one of the most important things in my pack. If I can work it out here. It's gonna be my first aid kit. First aid's probably gonna be your most important thing to have in your pack. Whether it's a scrape, cut, shot, stab, just whatever. You never know what you're gonna run into in a survival situation, so you want to be as prepared as you can be. It's got glow sticks, bandages, burn dressing, triage, triangular dressing, triage dressing. I mean, you name it, it's a pretty good kit. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but it's a good kit. It's good to have at the house. It's good to have anywhere. I mean, just to keep it in your car, in your truck, under your seat. I mean, just wherever you think that you can be more secure about having it. Now, like I said, you build one of these to however you want to build it. This is totally up to you how you want to do it. I'm not telling you how to do it, but this is how I do it. This is how I built mine. So, and I know you probably wondering, well, you gotta have some way of do water, because you can only go 3 days without water, but you can go, I don't know, 30, 40 something days without food. Sawyer Mini water filter. I kept it in a pack. These packs, you can get them online. You can get them some of y'all folks don't order anything off the internet. These are 2-ounce filters, and they're rated up to 100,000 gallons. Now, I'm not guaranteeing any of these things will filter 100,000 gallons, but they do work. I've used them. I've used them in the woods. Like I said, I've used them several times. I've done several different things with them. I've filtered different types of water, mineral water, iron water. I mean, you name it, I've filtered it. Junk water, stagnated water, river water, and they do pretty doggone good about catching stuff. These are portable water tablets. No iodine taste or color. You can get these at Academy. You can get them online. I mean, just however you want to do it. I hear old Hoot Owl out here hooting at me. Normally I'll sit out there and talk with them for a little bit, and I'll get 4 or 5 of them out there with me, but it's real quiet out here tonight, so I'm thinking we might have something out here. Some kind of predator or something. Most of the time we got dogs tearing stuff up out here, barking and raising sand. Fire's a little bit warm. But this is a G2O water filter container. It's a water bottle. It's got a built-in filter in it. You can take the filters out, swap the filters out of them once they're stopped filtering. I think these filter up to 20 gallons, up to 1 micron. They're good to have on hike. They're good to have running. I mean, you just want to stop off by a creek and get down in there and dip it out and get it down in there and do that. Now, I said creek. I normally say creek, but I got a lady I work with. She don't like the way I say creek, or the way I say creek, so I say it just aggravates her. They're actually the ones that inspired me to come out and do something like this. Now, another thing I keep with me all the time. I keep at least a .22 caliber pistol with me in my pack. I'm not saying that you need to, but this is a Heritage Rough Rider. They're not expensive. You can find them anywhere between $125 and $200, just depending on where you get them from. I've got one. This one's a 4 3/4 inch barrel. I've planked with it. I've shot squirrels with it. You name it, and I've just about done it. I've got coons with it. I've got possums with it, and I can't complain. It's been a good little pistol for what I get for it. So, if you wanted to put one in your pack, you just had the extra money to spend on it, go ahead. I normally keep a holster in there with it. Finding a holster for one of these is a little bit tricky, but as long as you take it to a good gun store and they sell a pretty good amount of holsters, they're not too bad to find. So, got that there. My pack on the side is where I keep my bullets. Anybody that knows me knows how much of a Winchester guy I am. I've got Winchester shotguns. I've got Winchester rifles. I've got Henry rifles. I plan on getting a Henry Survival .22 to keep in my pack. It's a breakdown gun. You literally just screw it apart, put it together. It's semi-automatic. I've never used one, never even seen one in person. But this Winchester Silvertip is optimized for handguns, so I keep it in there. Most of the time, I'll shoot hollow points or lead nose, solid lead nose. That's what I call them, is lead nose. I mean, it's just when you from Alabama, you come up with names for stuff that probably ain't the right name for it, but your buddies are gonna know exactly what you're talking about whenever they get done. So that's just about it for my pack. And like I said, y'all can put whatever y'all want to put in there. It don't matter. It's whatever suits y'all's needs. I'm not going to tell you you need to do this, or you need to do that. Or, I mean, it's good to have one in the car, one for each person. That way they have all their own specific stuff for their own specific needs. I don't really know any more of what to put in there personally besides what I use, because I normally pack light because I can find stuff out there to use to eat and get around on, basically. Most of the time, if I've got a water filter in my rifle or my pistol, I don't have to take anything else with me in the woods. I can pretty much get it, and maybe a fire starter, so I can cook me some meat. Or if I find some wild berries, some blackberries or something like that, I'll carry me a small bag with me. That way all I got to do is put it in there, and I can tote it with me and munch on it. So it's just, like I said, it's just your preference. I'm not going to tell you this or that, but is what it is. So I've had a lot of folks ask me how I got my nickname, how I got my name WD. Well, WD is short for WD-40. And I'm not going to name no names, but anybody who knows me knows I used to run around, and I still run around with, from time to time when they ain't busy, some Smiths. Last name Smith. And there's two Smith boys in particular that give me that nickname when we was in high school. I was 15 years old. And we was out working on cars. Well, me not knowing no better, being fresh on working on cars, and we was working on some old ones. I'm talking about they was Fords and Chevrolets. I mean, it's just about anything. We had plenty of work to do, and there was a lot of work. They was rusty, so I used WD-40 on everything. Spray them off. Just loosen up rusty nuts and bolts, and that's the reason why they give me the nickname WD-40. So I've been using it, and like I said, everybody who knows me, anybody that's a friend of mine, knows that my name is WD. So, and that's like I tell folks all the time, if I ain't got your phone number, and you ain't got mine, we ain't that good of friends. So, I mostly keep to myself. I've got a couple of friends that I hang around with, here and there. Hunt with, scout with, one of those Smith boys being one of them. I was with him the day he killed his first deer. And that was an interesting little feat, but I'm not going to go there on that one. Now, I will tell you this, though. I will tell you this. Now, this is probably the second or third time we ever went squirrel hunting together. We was up squirrel hunting around Mentone, and he had a Marlin semi-automatic rifle. And we was out there hunting. He was off over here, and I was off over there. Next thing I know, I hear, "Tow!" I said, well, he's done got him one. Next thing I hear is, "Tow!" I said, "Dadgum, got him another one." I said, I bet you he's over there in old den tree. he done found him a den tree, and they done come running out after he shot that first one, because they run out sometimes at the shot of a gun. And he said, "Tow!" I said, "Gum, that's 3 shots in a row. He's tearing this place up." Next thing I know, I see a squirrel run by me. I said, "What the crap?" So I picked my rifle up, and I went to go aim at him, and he took off running some more. Next thing I know, I turned to my right, and here he comes down through there. He's running by me. Tow! Tow! I said, "Good grief, son. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn." He said, I got him. And he run right up into the side of a den tree on the side of my oak. And I said, "Well, I think you got one in a good spot." He said, "Well, I don't know. Let's go over here and see if we can find something." So we moseyed on down through the woods, went to go looking. And it wasn't too long before he got over there and he shot one. Well, I don't know if he necessarily hit him or not, but he fell out of the top of the tree. When he fell out of the top of the tree, he hit the ground, and he run down into a hole like a chipmunk. Well, we're on the side of a ridge, and I'm talking about this ridge is about like that. It's a pretty steep angle. You got to kind of lean forward a little bit to get up that hill. And that squirrel is down in a hole on the side of that ridge. And he says, "That squirrel's done run down in this hole right here." He said, "You think he'll come out?" I said, "Well, if he ain't going to come out, you might have to dig him out." He said, "Well, here, hold my rifle for me." And he gets down there on all fours. Boy, he's just a digging. I'm talking about he looked like old bloodhound over there just trying to dig up a hole. Digging, digging, digging. And I'm standing right there beside him. Next thing I know, that squirrel comes right out, hits him right in the chest. He stands up and he starts tumbling down that hill. I can't do nothing but laugh. I'm talking about I'm laughing so hard I've done hit my knees. He stands up off the ground, he's staggering, and the squirrel just run right up a little sapling tree right here and come around over to my right. He stands up and he goes, where'd he go?" I said, "He's right there." And they said, shoot him. He said, shoot him. I said, "All right." Well, I just pulled up my rifle and put a bead on him, and pop, there he went right down on the ground. He said, "I just tumbled probably 35 feet down the side of this thing right here, and you can't even ask me if I'm all right." I said, "Well, you talking, and you moving around, so I know you ain't broke your neck or your arm or your legs." I said, "Well, I say you pretty much all right." He said, "You can't do nothing but laugh at me." I said, "I'm not laughing at you." I said, "If I'd had a camera, that'd have been on the funniest home videos. I'm telling you, I'd have been a millionaire by now." But anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I've done in the woods. I mean, I've been out. That's just like last year. I was out hunting over the management area, and of course now he's with me, or I'm with him, more like it. And he's out there hunting. He dropped me off at this one spot, so I went down there right before daylight. I mean, daylight ain't even broke yet. Ain't even broke. And I'm sitting there, and he said, he texted me, he said, "You see anything?" I said, "I ain't seen squat." He said, "Well, I'm going to sit right here for about another hour and a half." I said, "All right." I said, "I'm going to mosey myself on down in the woods a little bit further." And it's just breaking daylight real good. You can barely see it over the horizon. The beams of the sun ain't even hit the tops of the trees yet. So I'm going down through there, and I'm going down through there real quiet, and I'm going down through a wash. And this wash leads up. See, when you get off the main road right there, You'll come up and you'll come over a couple of small hills, just small little bitty things. There was an old logging road over here to your right, and over to your left is a deep holler. Well, I walked probably 700-800 yards, and something just told me to stop. Just stop. Well, I stopped, and next thing I know, I look down, and there's about a 40-foot drop right off the side of a straight ledge down. I said, whew. Boy, if I'd have fell off this thing right here, I'd have been in a world of hurt. I said, I didn't even realize that there was a cutout right here. The way the bottom of that holler come up, it cut up and around to a point, and it was a straight up shot. Well, I was right up there in that corner. So I turned to my left, and there's a cane break right over here, right beside me. So I walked the edge of the cane break and come over to a big pine. Well, being as it was right at about 7 o'clock in the morning, I had to drain the main vein. So I done my business and turned around, and next thing I know, I stopped, and I wasn't 2 or 3 yards away from where I just done my business. And next thing I know, I hear this sound coming from right over there in one of them treetops. Well, I hear a hawk, and he's just tearing it up. So I crouched down beside this big old pine tree, looking to see what I might see, because there's pretty good sized coyotes over there in that area, right down in that holler. And I'd seen it up there in that wash where they'd been running through there. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking. Next thing I know, here comes a doe and a fawn come right up out of that holler. So just remember, if you ever hear a hawk bellowing out there in the middle of the woods, there's a good possibility it's either seen you or it sees another animal. And if you're hunting, there's a good possibility you might be able to kill you one off that hawk. But anyway, those does come walking right up, not within 5 yards of me, stopped, and then turned and went right down the side of that hall. Didn't even have a clue I was sitting nowhere around. Didn't have no scent blocker on, no none of this. The best camouflage in the world. I don't care how much money y'all spend on it. Best camouflage is to sit down, be still, and be quiet. Best kind you can get. I don't care how much money you spend. If you ain't still and you ain't quiet, they're going to see you before you see them. Now, most folks know I don't hear pretty good. So I rely heavily on my eyes. And I can see about as good as that hawk can. So I get up. After them deer walk off, I mosey on down in that holler. And by this time, I'm probably 1,700 yards off the main road where I got dropped off at. Well, I texted him and told him I had something I had to do that afternoon, so he just come right on over there, picked me up, and just went to go take me back to the check station. On my way back up there, I come up over on the side of that cane break. There's a feller sitting up there in a chair, and he's stripping, shirt off. I thought he'd done got into a hornet's nest or yellow jacket's nest. He's sitting in that chair, and by the time he stripped that shirt off right there, he turned and seen me standing in front of him, and he didn't have a clue I'd come from nowhere. I'd done snuck up on him. So I give a friendly wave at him, and I come right on up, right over there close to that little ravine where that 40-foot drop was, and walked right up that wash right there and walked all the way up to the truck. There's just, sometimes there's some things that sticks with you when you've been out in the woods. Some hunting trips I can recollect just real fine. Some of them couldn't tell you. But anyway, Y'all let me know what y'all want to hear, what y'all want to see. I'm real, I'm real willing to show y'all some stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna make a batch of some hickory nut milk. I know a lot of folks don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but this right here is a hickory nut off of a shagbark hickory tree. I got a slew of them. Now they're real hard and they're hard to crack. These right here, I've had them sitting off over there in the, put up in a bag from where I collected them a year or two ago. Let's see if it'll pop up. I doubt it. They're real funny. They're hard as a brick too. Take them and split them like that right there. Well, on the insides of these hickory nuts is the nut. Kind of like a pecan. They're actually a original. Pecan is like a hybrid of these hickory nuts. They're pretty doggone tasty. You got a kind of a sweet hint to them. So, if y'all like to drink almond milk or anything like that, I know some folks is lactose intolerant. But I'm gonna make a video on how to make that milk. The Indians used to make it and would drink it, and it's got a lot of health benefits. But basically, all you do is you boil this stuff down, make the milk, take the froth off top of the milk, and then when you take that froth off the milk, you skim it, turn it back on, and boil it some more. And then you can take the stuff off of it and put it in a soup, because it'll turn out real thin on that next go round. Well, squirrels love these things. I mean, squirrels eat the stew out of these things. So, hickory nuts. Amazing what you can learn from folks and Indians, and just picking up a book and reading. I mean, even if you ain't got time to pick up a book and read it, stick you a set of earbuds in and get on Audible and buy you a book. Get you some credits and listen to a couple of books. I'm a real big history guy. I really, really enjoy history. So, any kind of history book I can get a hold of, I'm going to try it. But like I said, y'all just give me ideas. Let me know. See, that right there is bad. That's how you can tell the difference on a hickory nut. If you go to try and do it, and it's a darker color in the center of that nut ain't no good. See, that one right there is cracked. That one cracked open just a little bit too easy, so I should have known better than to crack it open. I knew it'd be bad. I don't know if they're gonna be bad for you if you eat them when they're no good, but you don't want to put that in your milk because it'll give it a bad taste. But I want to know. Besides, I've already had some folks at work wants me to make some homemade butter biscuits in a Dutch oven. So, some of y'all folks don't know what a Dutch oven is, but I'm gonna show you. That right there is a Dutch oven. It's just basically a cast iron pot. Got a top that goes on it. You can take it and you can cook it in an open fire, or you can put it on top of a stove like this right here. Cast iron. Nothing to it. But like I said, I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn new things. I'd like some suggestions, so leave me a couple comments. I mean, I'm not down. I'm down to do anything that's all natural. Something that ain't gonna make you fail no drug test, because I don't smoke no pot or nothing like that. Ain't never done it. Don't plan on never doing it. But I'm interested. Any kind of Native American recipes. Anything like that. Like I'm gonna do a video. I've already got one figured out too on parched corn. For those who don't know what parched corn is, it's corn that's made into a snack. It's heavily salted. Basically, it's dried out corn, but it's not real tough. Kind of like a, I don't know what they call that. Some kind of corn puff or corn nuggets or something like that. I think that's what they called it. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I plan on doing. And I just wanted to touch base with y'all. I know it's been a little over a week since I've made a video, but anybody who knows me knows that I enjoy anything outdoors. Any kind of learning. That's just like me and a buddy of mine. I've known him. I'm 32, and I'd say I've known him since I was about 5 years old. We grew up together. He moved, went to a different school. I didn't get to see him, and we got reacquainted again in 8th grade. And after that, we'd been good friends. Life happened. He went one way, I went one way. But to this day, I'd still call him one of my best friends. I've not seen him since Riverfest in 2013, but I've always had his back. He's always been a good friend. And it don't matter how long it's been since you've seen somebody. If you know friends, and you know your friends, and you know how loyal, and he's a loyal friend. Couldn't ask for a better man. And a lot of people that knows me too knows that loyalty means everything to me. Whether it's a dog or a human. Most human beings don't have enough loyalty in them to do much with. I trust a dog more than I do most humans. But him, those Smith boys, and I've got probably 7 or 8 others in mind. I'm not gonna name no names. But me and them have been through some thick and thin stuff. And I'm extremely happy to call them my friends. And most folks don't understand that I don't call very many people friends. So if I call somebody a friend, they better take it to heart. But I don't know. There's a lot of things that I see daily. There's a lot of things that just makes me want to just go out in the woods and stay to myself and not ever come back out. But in the world we live in today, that they won't never let you do it. So y'all just come up with something. Let me know what you think. Leave me a couple comments. Don't forget to tell your friends about me. Folks, kinfolk. I mean, brothers, sisters. If your dog's got a YouTube, I don't care if he subscribes to me or if he don't. But I'd sure like for him to watch a video. If you can get him to pay attention long enough. Or subscribe. I don't even care if he don't even watch it. Just subscribe to me. Because you don't never know when there's something might come out. Anything's possible with me. Because there ain't no telling what I'm going to wind up getting into, when I'm going to wind up getting into it. That's one thing folks can tell you. Anything's possible at any given point in time. At the drop of a hat, I can go do something. Or I can come up with something. or if something comes in my head, I'm on it right then. Or I'll write it down. But just try it. See what you think. Give me a like, share, subscribe, whatever. Comment. Let me know what you want to see. And I'll write it down, and I'll start making some videos of it. But it may be when the hunting season's over with. Well, I've got another video I'm gonna make. I know for sure that I'm gonna make, other than the honey nut, the hickory nut milk, and the parched corn. If I can wind up getting me another deer, I'll get some. I'll show y'all how to make some jerk venison. But until the next go around, I'm gonna another one I want to make also too is show y'all how to make homemade lye soap. That's all I bathe in. I ain't bathing in nothing else besides some black soap. I've not used store-bought soap in nearly 5 years. And there ain't but 3 ingredients when it comes to lye soap: water, lard, lye, or beef tallow. I prefer to use animal fats over Crisco or anything like that. So if a recipe calls for Crisco or cooking oil or anything like that, I'll supplement beef tallow or lard. I prefer beef tallow over lard because I don't do pork. I know a lot of folks gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but I don't do pork. I don't eat pork. I ain't never liked barbecue. Ain't never liked ham. The only kind of pork I ever used to eat was bacon. Never did like sausage too much neither. But anyway, like I said, y'all just let me know. Tell me how you like it. And give me some comments. Give me some ideas. Something you ain't never seen before. You ain't never seen somebody make it. I've also got an idea on making a canoe. I'm going to try and make one out of a pine tree. Maybe a 8-foot canoe. I'm going to holler it out and take it out there, and maybe y'all can see a video of me sinking. I mean, it's the possibilities are endless. Anything that has anything to do with late 1700s to mid 1800s time frame, let me know. I'd love to try it. Love it. I'd enjoy trying to do it. And I'll also do other things outdoors, like I said, hunting. And when fishing rolls around, I'll bring y'all out there and show y'all how to catch some fish. And my father-in-law always tells me I don't know how to catch fish, but I do fairly well at it. But anyway, y'all have a good night, and we'll see y'all.